This week on the Spike and Jones podcast.
Welcome back, true believers, to the Spike and Jones podcast. Today we are going to bear the biggest faults in our souls.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Spike and Jones.
So listen, today is, when you hear this, it will have long since been in the rearview mirror, but we're recording this on St. Patrick's Day.
Yes.
And it's a day that I hold quite dear, of course. And I told this joke in Ireland on other people's radio shows. We used to broadcast from Dublin. We did it about 6-7 years in a row, about a decade ago. And we would go to Dublin for what turned into a week. It started as a 3-day trip.
That's pretty awesome.
But after a couple of years, I had them extend it. Fly me in early, fly me home late on my dime. And we did the broadcast one day, and as we had finished ours, was Jameson Whiskey would send us for the Jameson Global broadcast on St. Patrick's Day from the old Jameson Distillery in Bow Street in downtown Dublin. And I was walking around talking to other tables. I made myself a guest at large for other cities because I'd been to Ireland about 6 times at this point, and I kind of picked up a lot of little lore and facts and fun and yada yada. And I knew most of the jocks from the other markets that were there. And I'd go from table to table, and I told this one joke, and I can't wait to tell that. But it's borderline.
Okay.
And now that I've built it up and sold it, it's going to fall flatter than the devil's.
Well, there's no audience here except for me. That's the problem.
You matter to me. You're my constituency of one, dude. My army of one.
So I got to really put it on here. Okay, I'm ready.
So, the similarities from Ireland to America are many. There are really stark differences. For instance, Americans, the national bird is the bald eagle. In Ireland, the national bird is the falcon. I don't know if you knew that.
Okay.
Yeah. So I said the falcon. He goes, yeah, really. You go down to the Falcon Corner, get on the Falcon bus, go out and see the Falcon castles, then come back and have a Falcon beer. And this guy was, and I want to do that today on the air so badly.
You should.
Should I?
Yeah,
is
because
Falcon
it's
okay?
Falcon.
It's Falcon.
Falcon.
It's Falcon. Good joke.
It's like
Tell me a Falcon joke.
I run a mattress store called Sofa King.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
Sofa King hot. Yeah, you bet.
Sofa King
the
soft.
Sofa King. Yeah, that Sofa King hot sauce. It's Sofa King hot. How hot is it? Sofa King hot. I love those little word plays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should do it.
Go down to the Falcon Corner. Get on the Falcon bus. Go out and see the Falcon castles.
Yeah. It's not the word.
It's not. Good. Okay.
Do it, and you will not. I'm going to claim heavenly victory that you will not lose your job.
Okay.
Or be fined.
Maybe I'll pretend I'm a guest.
Yeah.
We're here with patio furniture.
Are you guys going to get to a place where you have? I mean, it seems to me that listening to the show yesterday, for example, you guys are on air a lot more now, or you're pushing it.
We are pushing it.
Because there's a fairly long bit of banter going on now.
Yeah.
A couple of minutes. I know that sounds like it's not a long time, but compared to 30 seconds,
it started as a 90 capper, and we did a 6-minute break the other day, and Nate's like, that was 6 minutes. I'm like, you think he noticed? To the boss, he's like, probably. That's okay. It was fun. It was good.
Yeah.
Did we ramble? Were we too long?
No.
Okay.
No.
That was hesitant. You waited. a microsecond.
Well, I wasn't sure if you were asking me if it was hyperbolic, but I didn't sense anything but good energy, man.
Good, and I appreciate the focus
really works. And I mean, granted, I do text you and say like that sucked, and you never respond. So I'm either thinking like you're reading it, and you're son of a
no. I can't get a signal in the bunker.
Okay.
That's the thing. When we go to music and I come out, my phones, and usually I leave it in my office, or when I come out, I get a flood of texts or messages or emails.
Right.
Because that room has got no signal.
Yeah.
It could make it hard for the band to play today.
Oh.
The band is going to be in my phone. And so
it's going to be really interesting.
Yeah, I know. They're tiny little Irish leprechauns.
Oh, man.
I'm calling them the Green Carters. What do you think?
It's a little corned beefy.
There you go.
So, speaking of corn, I think I shared last week that I have been taking supplements.
You did.
Turmeric, etc.
Yes, you sent me. I did not.
Come on, you're Spike O'Neill. You don't do anything.
Why do you say that like it's true? Come on. I mean, why do you say that? Because it's true.
Except buy a Harley.
Oh, that was 15 years ago.
Get a Harley, buddy. No, so no turmeric.
My day
Nothing.
gets away from me, dude. I rush home when I get out of here. I literally rush home to make sure the little one's getting her homework done, and the missus is okay, and she's coming out of her shell. The missus, yeah, she's coming out. It's good, but it's a lot. It's it's been a tough road for us, and it was, as I mentioned before, and I mean this with no disrespect, and all the love and compassion that I could possibly humanly muster, is that it's been tougher on her. It has. This was tough for Melissa. Our lifestyle was completely turned upside down.
Yeah.
And our very, very, very white, cushy American existence,
I get it,
was rocked to its core.
Yeah.
And we actually had to, go through what real people have to go through. And I worked my way out of it, and she has had to, just kind of climb out. Yeah. So I try to be as helpful as I can. That being said, I haven't gotten any turmeric. How's that for the longest no you've ever heard?
It's $12.
It ain't the money.
I know.
I stopped on the way here and bought $100 worth of booze.
I'm gonna buy you some next week.
I stopped on the way here and bought $100 worth of booze for the afternoon show.
You guys should have seen this. So I show up. I show up here to do the recording with him, and he's literally walking in. He's got his Hard Rock Cafe on, Dublin shirt. He's got a green sweater vest with KZO Jameson, yeah. And then he's got he's like triple fisting beer. He's got so much beer, much Irish whiskey.
We got some Guinness, we got some Harp, in case anybody wants a black and tan. And they can have straight Guinness. We can have a black and tan. We're gonna do some Irish whiskey. We're gonna make some toasts. We're gonna acknowledge the contributions of the Irish to this country. We have an immigrant theme for our broadcast today,
which is going to be
a positive immigrant theme. No, we have a traditional Irish band going to come in.
Oh, really? You really do have that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And a small crowd, just friends.
Yeah.
We can't invite the public because we don't have a liquor license.
We didn't invite me, so
I can't.
Clearly
you're,
not.
You're always welcome. Every day.
To freaking
come sit. We're just gonna do some toasts. We're not gonna drink heavily. We're gonna when you're socializing, it's not drinking. It's socializing.
That's true.
That's why they call it a public house.
Yeah.
In fact, we're going to open Connor's and O'Neill's today, the public house here.
Nice. Hence the word pub.
Pub. That's right. That's where the term pub comes from.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I mean,
since we don't have a liquor license, all the drinks are free. That's how we get around the liquor control board. We're just having friends in.
You and the men's room. All alcohol all the time.
Oh, God. Fuckers.
Yeah, you don't have it. You're not drinking. What are they? Not vodka. They're doing tequila. That's what they do. Tequila shots at 5 o'clock.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Every day. Tequila shots at 5. So here's where I was going with the turmeric thing. Mm-hmm. As I shared, I'm kind of on a supplement and getting my life back kick. Now, granted, when I say supplements, I'm talking about supplements that actually work.
Okay.
No hype on them. They're things that actually
not
are
Flintstones chewables,
right,
which
right.
Really don't
Gunk
do
and junk.
Anything, yeah.
However, I have jumped on the bandwagon, I admit, and it's a slightly embarrassing thing, of MCT oil. And all these super hardcore workout guys and the supplement freaks know what MCT oil is. I recently discovered it. I'd heard Joe Rogan talk about it on maybe 5 or 6 of his podcasts. He talks about it all the time. And granted, he has ownership in Onnit.com, and they sell MCT oil, so it kind of makes sense. I admit I got caught up in the hype on it, but I thought I'd give it a shot because what it does is it helps guys like me who are a little soft around the gut. It helps your liver burn fats in your body.
Okay.
Right? Pulls fats out of the body, so it forces ketosis.
Yeah, I know ketosis, big time.
Supposedly.
Okay.
Now, what they don't tell you when you're new to MCT oil is you should not take a normal dose, because it will set fire to the inside of your body.
How so?
Extreme diarrhea.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. So weight loss is through volume.
Apparently.
Yeah. Okay.
All I'll say is this: I'm the guy who says, screw those people. I'm just gonna go straight.
If
to
one's
the top.
good, two's better.
Right.
Sure,
Exactly.
I know how to do it.
There's no such thing.
Come on, moderation, please. That's a beachfront community in California.
Well, so it says take 1 tablespoon, and I'm like, well, I'll take. Okay. I'll start with one in my cup of coffee.
See how I feel.
And then about an hour later, I was like,
I don't feel it yet.
My stomach's fine.
I don't feel it yet.
I don't see the problem.
All right.
So I take another cup of coffee and get another,
this time
tablespoon.
and a half.
A tablespoon.
Okay.
So I got 2 tablespoons in me. And then about an hour later, my stomach started doing the gurgle. I'm like, oh, this is maybe not so good. So, I'm at the office and I go in to use the restroom and then my stomach aches. And so I go online and it says, for newbies, start with 1 teaspoon.
Right.
And of course, a
do
tablespoon. I just
not
took 6.
exceed.
Right.
Yeah.
And do it for like a month before your body gets used to it.
And then,
your body gets used to it.
ramp up to the full
Right.
proper
And then
dosage.
ramp up to 1. I mean, you got weightlifters who are doing 5 or 6 tablespoons. So that's what? Times 3, 15 teaspoons. Crap load. Yeah. And so I'm looking at it, I'm like, well, no wonder my stomach hurts. And it says take it with food. And of course I didn't take it with food.
With coffee.
So I did with coffee. Yeah, I just did the worst. So, I mean,
Sure.
What do they call that? Bulletproof coffee.
Yeah.
Bulletproof coffee has MCT oil in it. Or coconut oil.
Okay.
So anyway, next day I got up and I did 2 teaspoons and no big. No stomach, no nothing, no problem. So I was like, well, I'm good. I must have adapted.
I must have broken the seal.
So yesterday,
Yeah.
I went back to 2 tablespoons because
you're a slow learner?
Because I am a you got to tell me twice guy. I am.
Well,
I admit it.
You got it down to twice? You're my hero.
No, really, just twice.
I know.
It takes
I'm
twice. But
5.
Twice
Yeah.
for me, but definitely twice. And the problem is I forgot that the previous night I had eaten basically like a jalapeno chicken type mix. Mm-hmm. And then yesterday for lunch, due to a traffic jam in Bellevue, I decided to work from home. And so I ate the remainder of the jalapeno chicken along with the 2 tablespoons of MCT oil, of which forced me to stay in the toilet, or I should say on the toilet, for the next 6 hours.
You're kidding.
I spent all afternoon. I used the toilet, and things came out of me like pimentos from 1997 that I haven't eaten. Like, I don't know.
Wow.
You name something, right?
Key to handcuffs from when you were a magic kid at 8 years old.
Right.
And that key came out.
Is that super glue from a Revell model kit? Is that a first issue of The Invaders from 1974? I quote unquote used the toilet. 11 times.
You are clean.
11
Okay.
times yesterday. Nice. So if anyone just wants to try MCT oil, go slow.
Yeah.
This morning though, I did do 1 teaspoon.
Okay.
And I haven't had any since. Okay. And I'm great.
So we're not going to be broadcasting from the CBS men's room?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
We're not at CBS.
No, officially?
Officially.
Is that really? Is that a problem?
Well, no,
For you?
I thought it was for you.
Oh, gosh,
oh okay. Hey, we're at CBS.
I don't care.
Okay.
It's on Facebook every day that you're at CBS. What do I
I'm
care,
just bragging.
man? I know.
Look at me rub shoulders with local giants.
What do I care? Yeah. I'll introduce you to Steve Slayton, my hero.
I'm gonna go downtown and do a podcast with Spike O'Neill. Who?
Yeah. Oh, I know. I get it all the time.
So great. my daughter said though, you have awesome hair. She loves your hair.
That's sweet.
And we're talking my 25-year-old daughter, not my 5-year-old.
I'll take it from either one of them.
So I did tell people we would try Facebook Live one more time today. So we should just do it now and get it over with. But all that being said, do you have anything that you just can't wait to share with people that is not politics?
No.
Well, okay.
No, it's funny. I don't know if I've turned the corner of giving up on the whole political atmosphere.
Giving up?
Well, it's I'm howling at the moon.
Okay.
And every day is a bigger embarrassment than yesterday. So, what's the point?
I found that there's a lot of. I mean, my extremely upset friends are still. They'll always be.
I'm still upset too. But we have such precious little time together to do this, and I waste it. I literally piss it away by bloviating on my perspective on life and and justice in the American way, and all that.
It's
crap
a passion.
Sandwich. It is a passion that I care deeply about. But there are so many other things I care deeply about. I care deeply about you and family and Movies.
I know. Somebody asked me this morning. They said, "What's your?" Because they subscribe to our podcast this morning. What's your favorite podcast? I said, "Movies," which is I think the second one.
Was the second one we did too? Yeah, safe.
I love that. Yeah, I mean it's safe. It's easy. We can talk about it forever. It doesn't have too much politics in it, although it does.
Although sometimes,
a little bit worth it. Is there anything you've seen lately? You were telling me you had to finish. Stranger Things.
And I haven't finished it yet. We still have 2 episodes.
You still have 2.
My little one has come into the season of overscheduling.
Okay.
And she's been just, if it ain't homework, it's extracurricular, it's destination imagination, it's basketball, it's music, it's scheduling, and I can't honestly carve out 40 minutes of free time for this poor kid to sit down and watch a show, and I won't do it without her. I won't skip ahead. My wife watched the whole series before we brought our kid into it, before brought me into it.
Right.
Before she brought her kids, I should say, into it, my daughter and I.
Make sure it was safe? Did she do it for that reason?
Yeah,
to make sure it was something that kids could watch?
Yeah, because we've, my little one's 13, but I think and I hope and I knock wood that she's the most sheltered 13 you'll ever meet.
Yeah.
She's a very young 13.
What does that sound?
There's an office out there probably.
No, I know, but I mean... Oh, I guess that's what it is.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Ambient crowd noise.
Yeah.
I'll be using it later today in our broadcast, ambient crowd noise.
I thought maybe it was your phone with a weird ring or something.
I think my phone's across the building in my office.
No,
it's all good. Mistaken.
It's all good.
Yeah.
What I was going to say about that is I agree with you. I think it's wise to watch things ahead of time for your kids.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, with maybe the exception of, say, a Finding Nemo or something, right?
Well, I think I can trust the Diz. I don't know.
I don't know if that's true
this
anymore.
This new movie's got to hear bestiality and gay people in it.
Characters.
And everybody's overlooking the bestiality. The core.
That's hot.
Core
I've seen
element of this fairy tale, Beauty and the Beast. He is afraid. She's not.
She's ready to take his manhood.
But God forbid we have a gay little LeFou character out there for America.
I know.
That's tragic. I wish people would open their minds.
Well, this is kind of where I was going with this. Is so I'm really into YouTube, and I think I'm into YouTube because I don't have TV, right?
Well, there's your sign.
But there's one of those channels, I think it's called Cinefix, and it's basically, because I love movies, it's about movies. And it's that whole, 7 things you didn't know about, say, Pulp Fiction.
Oh, yeah,
right?
Yeah. I like those little things.
Right,
yeah.
or 7 things you didn't know. Last night it was 7 things you didn't know about Robocop. And I probably knew them because I was a big, giant Robocop fan.
I liked it, yeah.
But long story short is my kids were in my room when I was watching this, and I wasn't thinking about the fact that I just thought it was, I don't know, it was going to be edited. And so... because they don't use, F word. They don't, they don't use language, and so they're talking about. By the way, I bet you didn't know the RoboCops actually went through 12 rating boards reviews before they got it from an X to an R, and then they started showing the X-rated violence. And my wife is just like, "Turn that shit off," because it's like the guy's like, "Gut." I mean, like 40 seconds of getting shot, and. And I was like, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean." She goes, "You knew."
I forgot. It really hasn't had any effect on me.
Yeah.
How can it hurt our children?
Yeah.
There's your eyebrow twitching like a...
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but I don't... I do protect my children. I think, it's like anything. People should be able to see things in a way, but they don't need to see X-rated violence.
No, they don't. Especially when you got a kid, there's...
I don't need to see X-rated violence.
Nobody really... that's a great point.
Right?
Even as adults, there's some stuff out there that's available to us.
Don't show us that penis, but...
Well, God forbid, the stuff that... it's funny what goes around the cinemas nowadays. There's some... I read a story yesterday about a movie where an unborn fetus makes the mother kill...
Okay. What's this movie called?
It's called...
I wanted to see it now.
Oh.
Is it a revenge flick for all the aborted children in the world?
No, what's it called? It's pre something. It's a play. The title's a play on words.
Okay.
It's pre something because they take the pregnancy and it's
okay.
But Prevenge, I think it's called.
Prevenge.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
I know it's awful, but her unborn fetus talks to her like Son of Sam's dog and makes her kill.
Really?
And this movie premiere let pregnant women in free for the screening. I'm like, are you kidding me?
That's actually pretty brilliant.
That's pretty brilliant. Yeah, I guess it is. That's pretty brilliant. That's like taking like one pinky on the train track and until he talks, and then the second finger on the. Did you ever see the movie Bound?
Yes, it's one of my favorite movies of all time.
We've never mentioned that one. I love that movie.
Yeah.
But you know what I love most about it?
It's my favorite of their movies.
Yeah.
I like it more than Matrix.
It's the cinematography in Bound is just brilliant.
Yeah.
The blood stain on the foot and the carpet.
Yeah.
I mean, and people here that goes, what the hell are you talking about?
Oh, Bound is one of the greatest movies ever made.
Brilliant.
It's incredible.
Joey Pants in that movie was just, oh my God.
Yeah.
Because Joey Pantaleone is always played supporting peripheral characters, and he is the star of Bound.
Yes.
Although it's Gina Gershon.
Actually, yeah. It's great.
And who's the other Gina Gershon? Oh, Gina Gershon and Meg Tilly.
Jennifer Tilly.
Jennifer Tilly, not Meg. Jennifer Tilly.
Yeah.
And they're beautiful. Both of them are just beautiful in this movie.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
It's a Joey Pants movie.
It is a Joey
just
Pants
perfect
movie.
in that movie.
Yeah.
But the garden shears.
Oh,
and the fingers until they talk.
Yeah,
that is just genius,
and
man.
The toilet water.
Yeah. Oh my
it's
gosh,
so good.
Fantastic.
It's such a.
But people, it is so good.
It makes me cry. It's
that
such
one
a
is
good
so
movie.
good. It is a great movie.
Rock and roll.
But the gratuitous, over the top shock we've come to need as a culture. That's what terrifies me.
Yeah.
Is our level of what's next.
Yep.
On even TV shows, it's getting there.
Yep.
There's a show coming out. I think it's called Stripped.
I've heard about it,
and it's like you have nothing. They take away everything you have, and you get one thing back a day.
Is that naked in the movies? I mean, in the woods.
It's not Naked and Afraid.
That's what I'm talking about.
It's a variation on that called Stripped.
Okay.
And I haven't seen it. I just read about it because we get show prep for the show, and I keep reading about all this weird stuff. But there's a show coming on called We the Jury. Okay, and it's literally, I swear to God, I dubbed this the end of civilization on the air last week.
Okay.
So I have witnessed the end of civilization. It's the dam is broken.
Okay.
Because there's a show coming on, and it's a Fox show, and it's one of their bloviating politicasters,
right,
pundits. A judge Janine or whatever, who's I think just the worst excuse for a human being I've ever seen in my life. And if you like her, I'm sorry.
I don't know
You're
who
wrong.
she is.
But she's the jurist on this reality TV show.
The juritist.
And people actually, they agree to go by the public jury. They'll lay out a case, and then the television viewers will have 5 minutes to text in their jury verdict.
That's terrible. So it's like People's Court.
It's like People's Court, except the inmates are running the asylum. I mean, literally. They're not going to have any serious cases, I imagine. They couldn't.
No.
But they're going to let the
bad
public,
guy's going to win a lot.
They're going to let the public decide.
Simply because of
by
that.
text
Right.
on this show. And I'm thinking, okay, thumbs up if he lives, thumbs down if he dies. Send us your emoji now. Oh, sorry, Timmy, you die.
The thing is if you're stupid enough to go on that show to actually settle a case, you kind of deserve what's coming.
That means you shouldn't have worn a miniskirt to the bar mentality. I don't buy that.
Really?
I don't buy that. I don't buy that.
Come on, it's not the same argument. You're going on to TV going, look at me. Come on.
But
seriously, I'm going to punch you right now.
So you're willing to trade your narcissism for.
They are. I'm not.
I'm not you, but you're justifying their whatever happens to them because they were narcissistic enough to need to go on TV. Right?
Well, probably.
Okay. Well,
I'm sorry, I got loud there.
That's okay. It's that degree, that slippery slope by degree.
Okay.
That scares the crap out of me. I started this by saying, what do we need to be shocked? What do we need to be entertained?
Yeah.
I go back. Russell Crowe. Are you not entertained?
Yeah. And the answer was, it's not
yet.
enough.
Not yet.
It's not enough.
That guy's got some body fluids that aren't on the dirt floor yet. Can you get those out for us, and maybe we'll be happy?
So this is a really good segue into what I was hoping we could talk about this week.
Kids' toys?
Did you actually get my text about what I was hoping?
I did.
Could you translate what I was getting at?
Preconceptions?
Well, it's the idea. No, so I'll just lay it out in front of you,
Please.
And I don't necessarily have a term, the terminology to call it yet. But it's like this: when you see something, read something, feel something, and you realize, oh my God, that's actually how I feel. In other words, like something you witness in your life, whether it's entertainment, media, somebody's opinion that you initially disagree with, and then you actually find yourself going, deep down inside, I kind of agree. Okay, so here's an example.
Wow.
This is a weird one. Okay.
I see the concept you're laying out, but I wouldn't know how to verbally describe
I know
the
that's
concept.
that's what I'm struggling with.
Okay.
So here's an example. I watched Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing back in 1991. Okay, I hated that movie. I hated it. I can't exaggerate how much I hated it. How it made me feel. How it pitted white against black. How it made, to me at the time, all the white guys bad guys.
Right.
And then at the end of the movie, it made you pissed off that the black guys fought back.
Right.
Because like Spike Lee's throwing, if you guys haven't heard, I'm sorry, it's too late now.
No, I think 30 years is our spoiler limit.
He's throwing the garbage can through the window and they light the pizzeria on fire and all that other stuff. And I was like, no wonder. That's exactly what I thought. Like the whole time I was like, no wonder nothing ever gets resolved because there's all this hate and I felt like the movie was really sculpted and had such an unfair voice to get quote unquote black people angry at whites and to get white people to question themselves, but actually all it did was inflame white opinion to go, I hate blacks. I mean, to me it just bothered the crap out of me.
Okay.
And how I was raised was very, very not religious, but just love people, right? Love people, love where they're at, love everybody, right? And I didn't grow up in a highly ethnic space. I mean, I've shared this before. I grew up basically in a white world with the exception of part of my time in Eastern Washington when I grew up around Hispanic and Native families, okay? But I had never seen a black man until I was in 10th grade, not in person.
Okay.
Which is mind-blowing, but it's the truth. I just never saw it.
Okay.
Maybe on TV, but not in person.
Okay.
So what's the first thing I do? I go to college, I join the Navy, and all my friends are black, Hispanic, Asian. I do the opposite. I just go full.
Sure.
I dive right into the culture because I'd never had it. And so when I saw that movie, it really pissed me off because to me it was just loaded with inflammation. It didn't really have a point to me at the time.
Okay.
So 25 years later, last week I watched this movie again.
Okay.
And I realized it's genius. Okay.
Okay.
But I realized more than ever, it actually exposes me to being kind of a racist. And I didn't realize I had it in me. And it embarrassed me.
Well, we all knew. Sorry.
And that
you don't often get a setup like that, people. You just have to take the pitch.
You did pull that driver out this time.
I did.
But when I say racist, I'm not saying racist like
covertly or overtly racist. I threw that backwards.
Well,
you had some repressed racism from institutional racism from your upbringing.
Yeah.
And I think everybody.
And I don't blame my parents.
No.
At all.
Well, they lived the world they knew.
Yeah.
You know, their job was to bring you up with a set of a moral compass,
absolutely,
a compassionate heart, and a sense of fairness. If you can send a kid out the door with those three things, you're golden. You've hit the promised land as a parent.
Yeah.
You know, ring the bell, have a seat, smoke a cigar. You're done.
Yeah.
I grew up in Baltimore in the mid '60s.
Yeah.
When I became cognizant of the world outside my home, it was the late '60s in Baltimore when the riots were just. You think you see riots in Ferguson and Baltimore today? You ain't seen nothing. I mean, block after block after block of the city on fire.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you can't.
Watts Part 2.
Yeah. Well, you don't go downtown. I mean, you just don't go downtown. So we all had that. I didn't interact with people of color until it was forced on me by the city of Baltimore and their desegregation policies of their education system. The busing of the mid-'70s. You know, I was literally bused from my neighborhood to an all-black neighborhood to try to have kids get along.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I went to all my friends, my older brother, and everybody had gone to. I I came from a big neighborhood. I've told you this in the past. I came from a big neighborhood of maybe literally 24 plus kids my own age. And when I say my own age, in the 6-7 year window, if I was 10, they were 17, and that kind of a thing. They all went to, Northern Parkway. No, excuse me. They went to Hamilton Junior High.
Right.
In my neighborhood of Hamilton. I got bused over to Northern Parkway Junior High.
Anytime you add a direction.
Yeah, I hear you. And I went to a school that was 90%
I live
black.
in Seattle. I live in North Seattle.
Yeah.
South Seattle. East Seattle.
So I was immersed in a cultural, but that's cool though.
Yeah.
You're in school. You got to make friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it worked.
Yeah.
Baltimore.
No, I agree.
Did I get stuffed in a locker a couple times? Yeah. And it's not the cute, Porky's way. You
No.
get stuffed in a locker. You are
Porkies. I don't even know if that's a cute way.
Well, but you know what I'm saying. It wasn't the Hollywood, stuff the nerd in a locker, hang him up by the band of his underpants.
It was more like American History X type
It was,
stuff.
yeah. I never got curbed.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I'll never have to. I wish I could unsee.
I do too.
That was horrible.
That was the most
horrible.
the singular most shocking scene I've ever seen in a movie.
Horrible. So
Say goodnight.
I wouldn't blame you or your parents for having that
Predisposition. If you will.
predisposition. Yeah. What a great question, though. I mean,
It
I
felt
guess-
like
I guess-
favoritism. That was my thing. I'm sorry for jumping on.
No, not at all. It was your point. It felt like favoritism in how you when you were 'cause going back to do the right thing.
Yeah.
And your initial exposure to it from a very sheltered life and
For the
point
most
of view.
part, yeah.
It came across to you as being offensive in an agenda capacity, right?
Well,
I mean, they were trying to push an agenda that you just did not see.
I didn't understand
and you felt
it.
that their agenda made it worse.
Yeah,
it made things worse.
I'd never
Inflammatory.
been to New York City. I'd
Right.
never been in that world.
Right.
I'd never been inside of that culture to that degree. I'd never been in a neighborhood. I'd never seen how that people were treated. I just saw that urban landscape
Right.
in movies.
Sure. Or TV, sure.
I didn't like rap music. I actually still really don't. So I just didn't get it.
Right.
And so I couldn't understand the anger behind it. I couldn't understand why people couldn't just let it go. To me, it was like the same argument that I would say a Jewish family would have today, where I'd go like, look, World War II, it was 70 years ago, dude, let it go.
Right.
And yet, culturally, you probably shouldn't, let alone you probably can't.
Right. Right. Agreed.
And so my struggle then was, okay, I don't get it. And then I felt like it had such an agenda, which it did.
It did. Well, yeah.
That
agenda you couldn't
but that
accept.
I couldn't fathom.
Right.
Yeah, I couldn't accept.
Well,
I can
fathom's a
fathom it,
better
I guess.
word.
Yeah.
No. Well, you really that's the right word. I mean, it's not like you saw it and refused to accept it. It was just so foreign to your perspective.
Correct.
You couldn't fathom it. That's
so I
the
found
right
myself
word.
saying, "Well, no wonder."
Yeah, right.
That's
I
exactly
know.
what I found myself saying, and maybe even at the time embarrassed about saying, "Well, no wonder they get treated like niggers." You know what I mean? That's
Right.
exactly how my brain
There's
processed
and,
it.
and there was an ignorance there, and I don't
Correct.
mean that in a pejorative sense, but there was just that's the accurate descriptive. There was an ignorance there of a situation that Spike Lee was trying to convey to America,
right.
and not just
So
Black
ahead of
America,
its
but all
time.
America. Yeah, it's funny because I mean I love that you go back and see it 25 years later after you've lived a life of perspective, a varied perspective, through the military, and you see a cultural diversion or diversity that you'd never been exposed to.
Yeah.
You see it again, you're like, oh my God,
Yeah.
I was Saul,
Well, yeah. But here's the thing, and I'm sorry for again.
No.
What was so shocking about watching it the other day was it wasn't about racism, so it was really kind of incorrect for me to say that. It was more inflammatory than anything, but it was that I do consider myself again a lover of people and peoples and cultures and styles and ethnicities and foods and types and all that stuff. Now, there are some things that I don't like, but I still accept.
Sure.
I accept that that's okay. That's who you want to be.
Sure.
I probably don't appreciate it. I probably don't want to get behind it and go, yay, you.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if you want to rock that 9 million staples in your face, okay.
I hear
Go
you.
for it. But when I watched it, I understood it as a grown-up, if you will, now. But what it showed me that even to this day, still never having lived in that urban environment and being inside of that culture, inside of that urban environment, I still can't get. I get it from I've seen it on the news, but I still don't get it because I didn't live it, right?
Yeah.
But so what's happened is now I'm married to a Japanese woman. I've been around all these different cultures, and now I find I favor some cultures over others. So here I'm watching it, and at the end I felt guilty that I still not only didn't get it, but go, well, no wonder. I still did the same thing. And then that made me feel sad. It didn't make me feel sad in 1991. I was too young to kind of get it. But now as a 50-year-old guy, I go, God, I'm kind of a racist. Because I look at it and go, well, there you go. I mean, you keep yourself separated, so of course you get. Of course, people hate you. Right. You know what I mean? And which is, oh my God, I almost said it. I feel like I'm kind of right. like I look at that and go. I mean, granted, if that's the way that if the world in New York City and Queens, as an example, is literally, and I know it's not anymore, but if it were literally do the right thing in 1991, now I'd be like, well, yeah, you haven't progressed. You haven't done anything. You haven't gotten yourself out of your hole. You can't just say the man held you down. Right? That's what my brain says.
Sure.
I'm sure I'm incorrect, but there you go. This is uncomfortable. I'm not going to lie.
No, it's not. Well, for you it is. But for me, it's just I want to make some popcorn.
You're watching me twist.
Yeah, this is great.
Nobody's going to subscribe after this.
No, I don't think so. I don't think that's fair. I've been to Queens once, and it was 5 years ago. And I don't know if I told you that story. My daughter had just moved to New York, and it was literally 4.5 years ago. And we're in Manhattan at my friend's lower Manhattan apartment.
It might as well be two different cities.
Yeah, it's two different worlds.
Yeah.
So here's the drill. She's looking for a place to live in Brooklyn because she can't afford Manhattan. She's got a job in Manhattan, but we're going to go find her a place to live in Brooklyn. And she's going to train in. She's 22, 23. She's a big girl. She's out of college. She's moving to New York. And I borrow my friend's car, and we spend the first day looking at places in Brooklyn. We're about to go out the second day, and I drop my friend off at work and take his car, and I get on the wrong road because I'm, unless you're local, that place is a maze. Not just a maze.
Yeah.
The next thing you know, I'm on the, the Roosevelt? And next thing you know, I'm in the Queens, Holland. I'm going to Queens.
Yeah.
Okay. Have I told you this story?
No.
Okay. So I come out of the tunnel.
It's
and
like North Baltimore.
I know I'm on the wrong South
on the wrong side of the tracks.
I know I'm in the wrong.
Yeah.
I'm in the wrong.
South Baltimore.
I know I'm in the wrong tunnel, and I know I'm going the wrong neighborhood. And I pull up to the toll booth at the far end of the tunnel, which is in Queens. You're going under.
Can you tell?
No. It didn't even get that far. This lady goes, "Can I help you?"
Oh
this
my goodness.
lovely black woman.
Yeah.
Tall, strong woman. Can I help you? I said, well, what are you doing in Queens? I said, well, my daughter.
Ma'am, I
said, well, I'm trying to get to Brooklyn. She goes, you don't want to go to Queens. I said, I'm trying to get my daughter to Brooklyn. We're looking at apartments. My daughter, she says, okay, here's what we're going to do. She goes, you're going to just, you're not. I said, I'll go in and I'll turn around to this. No, you ain't going in. You don't want to go to Queens. She goes, you're going to hang. I'm going to move his cone. And you're going to hang a big old U-turn get in the tunnel and go back to Manhattan and take the. I'm like, okay. And this lady literally closed her toll, moved some cones, stopped traffic, turned my white ass around, got my car back in the tunnel, heading to Manhattan. I guess I had dough in my eyes.
Yeah.
I mean a DOE.
Yeah. No, I get
my eyes. So it ain't like the 25 years since Do the Right Thing came out, the world is better. 5 years ago was this lady didn't want my pasty virgin white ass driving through Queens.
Wow.
You
was a target, boy.
Wait, what are you doing in Queens? You don't want to go to Queens. What are you doing in Queens?
I would love to hear from somebody in Queens or Brooklyn or anything to tell us, is it still like this?
Well,
it can't be everywhere.
Well, that's the thing. Everywhere is the problem. It's not, everything's not this. Everybody's not that.
Right.
All the African American community isn't what you saw in Do the Right Thing. And I forgot where I was going with this, but if all the underlying thought I'm having as you're telling me this story today about your revelation light
Yeah.
of watching Do the Right Thing 25 years later. You get their perspective now, but you haven't changed who you are as a person in your core.
And it shocked me.
Is that a fair?
It shocked me. It made me
because
sad.
we all want to think that we're progressing and growing.
Yeah.
We all do, but we all still hold the same core beliefs. That's who we are.
But I don't think but see, that's the thing, Spike. I don't, you know me.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I hold or exhibit any of that sort of behavior that I would actually think like that. And
Uh-huh.
then I thought, I was like literally in my head, oh my God, I thought that. It was the first thing I thought.
Well,
no wonder.
Don't be so. I mean, if I see somebody doing a punk ass thing,
Maybe.
my first initial gut reaction is based on race, not based on the fact that they are
Really?
just a shitty person. Yeah, and I don't like that, and that's not my default position. I try to amend that before I project my position into the world.
I do it about like how looks like when people are overweight.
Well, yeah, we all judge. We all have
yeah.
preconceptions.
Well, no wonder she can't drive. She's fat.
I
mean, but I mean, seriously, I was like, you look over and she's like, just, and it's like, food falling down in her lap. Like, no wonder you're not driving right. You got your focused on your food.
There are people who justify your preconceptions.
I know.
People who make the stereotypes come to life. But when we generalize about an entire race, an entire gender, when we generalize about an entire ethnicity, that's part of the problem. I mean, it's funny you talk about Do the Right Thing and watch. What a perfect analogy or a metaphor for where we are as a country. How much of America sees that movie today like you saw it in '91? They still see it that way.
Yeah.
They still blame. They still, God, it's amazing the victim card that is played on a constant basis.
Yeah.
By and I hate to go political, and I'll try not to go there.
We're
for
doing
long.
a good job so
we
far.
Are. But the victim of the poor white guy card. I mean, some of these guys just rant and rave about how white Americans. This guy King from Iowa.
Yeah.
We're not going to rebuild our country with other people's babies.
I couldn't.
I mean, dude.
There was things that were said this last week that I literally was like, what? Like, how is it possible to think even kind of halfway that?
Well, that is a fair enough question. How is it possible to think that? How is it possible to have said that as a representative of the United States House of Representatives?
No,
and not have that be your last straw. This guy gets.
That's my point.
This guy
too,
gets.
Yeah.
He didn't. Not only did he not lose his job, but he's emboldened and supported in that view by a large percentage of his side of the aisle, and that's. As a culture, that's fucking dangerous.
Yeah.
I mean, you said a couple weeks ago, I think it was, that you were just afraid that we have maybe hit the tipping point, and we haven't hit bottom yet. And as I see things like that transpire, I think you may be on to something.
Yeah.
Which is just horrifically terrifying, not from a personal safety standpoint, but from an appreciation of what we got as a society and a country standpoint.
Yeah.
You see that kind of shit is the new norm.
Well, and that was the point I was trying to make when we were talking.
That's the new norm.
To me, we are consistently desensitized. We're desensitized culturally, sexually, you name it, right? When we were kids, the idea of a tattoo, right?
Right.
What belonged to gangs, sailors, and I don't know, scabbards, right? Bad guys.
Yeah.
And now almost everybody has a tattoo.
Sure. They've been
almost everybody has a lot of tattoos.
I've got a 21-year-old cousin who's an angel. I mean, just a freaking angel. And she's got a lovely eagle tattoo on her shoulder for her uncle who passed away to cancer.
Okay.
But she's a junior at the U. I've told you about Kayla. Mm-hmm. I mean, she's everything people should be.
Yeah.
And she's got ink.
Yeah.
My daughter, every time I see her, she's got more ink.
Yeah, my daughter too.
It's like
both of my
Lord.
daughters, both of my older daughters, I should say, not my 5-year-old.
Yeah, well, not my 13-year-old. I should point out the 28-year-old.
But there's this thing in me that says, because I totally crazy love my older children. They're great. They've grown up really well. My older daughter, she was very, very, very difficult to raise. Would be the nicest way to put it. Very difficult to raise.
Her independence was strong.
She's been shot. Yeah. It's. I'll tell you that story off the air. But she's experienced some crazy things in her life, and she's got a fair amount of tattoos. She's got tattoos on her tummy. She's got tattoos on her arms. She's got a sleeve on one arm, and you know what I mean. And she's got stuff on her back. And she got the one on her back, and I was like, I guess I can deal with that. And then she started getting more and more, and then eventually I just got sad. I just thought, I love her so much. I didn't want her to do it out of pain, which a lot of people do it, as a way to fight back against, I don't know, family issues or whatever. Like, well, I guess what, I'm going to get tattooed just because you don't want me to get one, right?
Have you got a tattoo?
I don't.
Okay.
But I admit to kind of wishing I did. Okay. But I think it's because culturally, I feel like, okay, it's cool now. I just don't have a sexy enough body to have one. Well,
that's not a mitigating factor.
Well,
look at me, I got like 6. I think.
But you're cool. There's a difference. See, I've never been cool. I'm not cool. I'm a nerd. I'm a nerd with a capital O.
I don't even know where that would go.
I'm weird. Well, anyway, my daughter, she got this tattoo, and it was kind of nice. And then she got another one. And then all of a sudden, she started, and I'm like, "Stop! You're messing up your beauty."
Right.
But the funny thing is now I look at her. One, I don't notice them, and two, she's beautiful.
Yeah.
And the thing is she said to me, this is when the student teaches the teacher. Uh-huh. She said, Dad, I really need you to understand. You need to stop telling me you don't like my tattoos. And I said, what? And she goes, you like tattoos. You just don't like them on me. And she's right.
Yeah, okay. That's fair.
I do. I actually really, really like tattoos. I just don't want them on her. But the thing is she got them, and then her younger sister got them, and now my baby girl, she's like, oh, your tattoos are cool. And I'm like, no, it's not gonna happen. I'm gonna kill Sissy so you'll forget.
My God, so, you really don't like her tattoos.
No, I actually quite. My daughter has a gorgeous sleeve. I mean, we're talking Japanese, the river. Yeah. I mean, it's insane.
Nice.
It's beautiful.
Nice.
Yeah. So do you have anything that kind of woke you up, maybe showed you, what would we call this Deep Six? Exposing our truths?
Personal revelations.
Personal revelations. There you go. Thank you.
Okay. No, not at all. That's a great assessment.
Something like that? It doesn't have to be obvious.
Well, I don't know. It's hard to look at yourself and say, what have I woken up to about myself? That's kind of like the mystic goal line, isn't it? Mm-hmm. To have a self-revelation about yourself that is enlightening and makes you a better person overall. That's the goal.
Yeah, I'm reaching. I'm reaching.
Well, good, as you should, as we all should.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can put my finger on it. I guess preconceptions is when you text it to me, which lets me know yet again that texting just is hard to translate meaning through text.
Yeah, I don't want to put a smiley face next to it.
Whoever invents the sarcasm font is going to retire on an island, his own island.
I'm telling you, it's the italics.
It is.
We just have to be able to italicize
our text and
like,
say, sarcasm font.
But right now we do an ellipses, right? Pop, pop, pop.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
People go like, oh, okay.
Or if you're Donald Trump, you put it in quotation marks, which means I didn't mean anything I just said. I didn't mean it was wiretapping. I meant surveillance.
Exclamation.
Surveillance in general. God, those poor guys. I do think Sean Spicer will take the gold medal in gymnastics at the next Summer Olympics. That guy's mental fucking gymnastics and verbal, bendovers are just impressive. If they weren't so sad. I don't know. My racial preconceptions and revelations, as I talked about a couple minutes ago, were forced upon me at an early age. I grew up in an all-white section of Baltimore, in a big old family section of Baltimore, and we had a black friend. And if you want to talk about the stereotypes, you ever seen the movie Dazed and Confused?
Yeah.
Remember the black guy in their school, Jay, right? Mm-hmm. That was my one black friend.
Yeah.
In fact, my friend was named Jay. I'm not sure what the guy in the movie's name was. The one guy in there was cool enough on their football team in Middle America to be, their cool black friend who also liked Aerosmith and football. He wasn't bringing any of that Earth, Wind, and Fire shit around.
Right.
He was okay because he's one of us.
Right.
My cultural diversity was forced on me, sometimes at knife point. Wow. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I've ever been able. You know, it's funny. I think I'll try to grasp for one. As
I have another one.
Okay, good. Because mine are shallow and weak, much like myself. I moved here.
You just know yourself.
It's funny. I moved here almost 28 years ago.
Yeah.
And I didn't think much of the cultural differences between here and there, between the East Coast of Baltimore and Seattle. I initially
in '89,
I didn't think much of the cultural differences. I didn't think there were much cultural differences.
Oh! You didn't think they were until you got here?
No. Even when I lived here, even when I lived here a couple of years.
Wow.
I didn't really notice a stark difference. And then I had some friends of mine, some childhood friends of mine. Guys I grew up with, visit Seattle. When I first got here, I was a landing pad for people who wanted to see Seattle. Well, that's cool. I love that.
Makes sense. I love that.
My buddies came out and stayed a week, stayed a weekend, or whatever. And numerous guys came out and stayed. And my dearest friends would make comments about all the interracial couples here, and how what the fuck's up with that? Man, I was like, wow.
There's a lot.
Is that where I grew up? In that mentality?
Yeah.
That I couldn't, how did I escape that perspective?
It's because you never saw it. You didn't see it when you were there. You just didn't see it. You've never seen it.
What do you mean? How do you mean?
You never, it was there. You just never, you didn't notice it because it didn't bother you.
Oh, here?
Anywhere.
Well, I don't know if I'm following your.
I'm saying that your friends are saying, oh, look at all the interracial couples.
Interracial cultures.
And I'm not saying you saw a ton of them in Baltimore when you were growing up.
No, we didn't. But when I got here, they didn't bother me. That's what I'm saying. I saw the interracial cultures.
Of TV, maybe? A lot of TV?
I don't know. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was my schooling. I mean, and the friends, funny, the friends who I heard this from, they weren't the ones who got bussed.
Yeah, they didn't go to Northern
Parkway Junior High. Yeah. They didn't.
That's what it is. So
Maybe.
So look at that busing system worked out for you.
It
turned you into a liberal pussy.
It did. An open-minded, accepting liberal pussy.
Yeah, what's wrong with you?
Damn you, Baltimore. Damn you all to hell. And as we talk about the new education secretary and her Neanderthal fucking perspective on life.
Oh.
I know. I mean, it's well. There you go. There's perspective. I mean, I feel blessed that I escaped my cultural upbringing and my geographical upbringing. I feel like I dodged that bullet.
Yeah.
Of I don't know if racism is the right word. I don't want to label my friends racists. I don't think they are. I think they're institutionally racist in some subconscious level, as you probably brought to your first viewing of Do the Right Thing.
Yeah.
They will probably have the exact same reaction. I may have had the exact same reaction at some point, but I think I've always been a little more open-minded toward it.
Yeah.
It being cultural, melting. We'll all be the same one pale tone in 3 or 4 generations. That kind of thing.
My kids will be slightly yellow.
Slightly.
Yeah,
Oh my God! Hold on, joke. Funny, a joke, and I love this joke. And I may have told you about it before. John Oliver last week. Last week John Oliver on HBO. If you haven't seen this, YouTube it. You're Mr. YouTube. I think it was he that made the joke, and it may have been Seth Meyers, or no, it might have even been Saturday Night Live. But in fact, it was Colin Jost. I guess that's his name.
Oh, I like him.
He's great. They said the new Trump administration, travel ban is out, and probably won't do something about the fact that it's just a color swatch and had various shades of brown was the whole new policy. And I'm like, oh, that's fucking genius.
Yeah.
That was genius.
Like a terrorist watch if we're in orange.
Right. I mean, it was a color thing from Home Depot's paint department, various shades later, darker later of brown. That was the new immigration policy for Trump. Like, damn.
Last one's
that's
mulatto.
Good.
Mariah.
Right. Yeah. Right.
It's the color.
Mariah. The whole room, Mariah. With some Tirabank accent. It's gonna be great.
I didn't really understand racism until I went to Japan in 1998 for the first time. And meaning because I'd never really experienced it. When I was, 18, 19, and I was downtown Seattle for something, walking down First Avenue, being nervous because it was the big city.
A little uncomfortable? Because
and I was 18. I didn't
Right.
know anything.
Right.
And I'm like, who's these homeless people? And why are they here? And how come people are looking at me? And how people are trying to get money from me? And
Right.
you know what I mean? I was kind of freaked out.
Was it race-based or was it just culturally? You
No,
didn't
just
know
back then
home
it was
people?
just being in a big city and not
Right.
having a clue what to
Right,
do.
and they weren't just. It was all blacks that
No,
were bothering you.
it was just bums.
I'm just getting your I'm
Right,
just
right.
getting your perspective
But
on why you were uncomfortable.
but those were just fears of, oh, am I going to get beat up and
right,
murdered?
right.
You
That's
know?
the culture, big city culture.
And then that kind of happened again in Portland when I was in college, going downtown, and in fact getting jacked for money once. That was scary. $20 bill. I don't know how this guy knew I had a $20 bill, but he goes, I can see that $20 bill in your front pocket. And I purposely had it in my front pocket because I thought if I ever get robbed down, I mean, if I ever somebody get rolled down here, I don't want to have it in my wallet.
Right.
And a gang of kids stopped in front of me. And one of them goes, hey, you got any money on you? And I'm like, no. And he goes, I can see that 20 in your front pocket. And I was like, what are you talking about? And so they must have followed me from something.
Right.
But anyway, I gave that $20
Oh,
to
shit.
get out of there alive.
Oh, shit.
And they were not gonna, they were gonna take me down. They were gonna
Oh, shit.
hold me down and beat the crap out of me.
Wow.
Anyway.
And they would get the 20 anyway. At that point, yeah.
So I went to Japan in 1998 to see my girlfriend at the time and meet her family, or hopefully meet her family and get their approval to continue to be her boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And that's I don't know if that's the time for now to tell that story, but all I can say is when I went to Japan, I'd been out of the country many times, but I'd never been to Japan.
Okay.
Where the culture is fiercely nationalistic, very much this island nation is ours. We are pure.
Right.
I mean, really, even though they themselves are Mongols, they come from the, whatever it is, the sub race or whatever, Mongoloid, they are Mongols, right? And so they all have that same look and shape to their features. So I don't know how pure anything is really. But that being said, culturally, Japanese are very, very nationalistic. And so they don't want their girls marrying outside of their culture.
Right.
Not really. It's certainly more acceptable now, even 20 years later, than it was then. So there was a lot of pushback. And here I am, this white guy, tall. I'm a foot taller than everybody else.
Right.
I don't fit into anything.
Right.
They don't have shoes or clothes big enough to fit me anywhere I go.
Right.
I eat food voraciously compared to them. They're all dainty. I'm like with the French fries at McDonald's. I'm just a big klutzy dumb fuck.
You couldn't get more American if you tried.
Right. Hey, I like your people.
You're also cute and small.
Yeah, your kind are cool. So it was an odd experience because I was looked at everywhere I went, and not necessarily in a good light. It wasn't like I was famous. I was kind of reviled.
Just different.
Yeah.
And not in a good way.
Not in a good way.
I hear you.
And, so if you get in line, you could tell people look at me like, why are you here? And so this was the first time I really experienced not fitting in, and it was clear I wasn't Japanese.
Right.
And it was clear no matter how well. And in fact, here's an experience. I didn't know really any Nihongo, which is the Japanese language. I didn't really know any, but I knew a few phrases, and I knew some, I could read a few things. Mm-hmm. And I went into a grocery store there, and this woman was walking down this aisle, and just the same aisle I was on, and I saw something. I'm kind of paraphrasing my memory here, but long story short is she was looking at bread, and I saw her looking at the bread, and then when she looked up, she saw me. She dropped the bread. I literally scared her enough for her to drop the bread, and she went like that. Like I was gonna hurt her.
No, I hear you. You're large and looming,
and I backed away, and I said, so I just basically went, like it's okay.
Yeah.
And I reached down and picked up the bread and gave it to her like a puppy.
Yeah.
And she took it. She kind of bowed and backed away, and she went around the corner. Well, I went over to the next aisle to grab something else, and she's there again. And I swear to God, this is true. She's down again on her knees, kind of looking at this bottom shelf, and I'm standing next to her. And then when she looks up, she drops the bread again. It's true.
Did you both laugh about it?
Yeah. No.
Oh.
Because I scared her.
Again.
So I reached down and I handed her the bread. And she said, arigato. Which means thank you.
Thank
right?
you, yeah.
And I said, "Dotashimashite," which means you're welcome. And she dropped the bread again. Because she couldn't believe, like,
that you knew some Japanese. What
that
the
I was
hell?
this. I mean, this is 1998.
Yeah.
This is 19 years ago. This is not 1950. This is not post World War II.
Well, they were used to you guys.
Okinawa.
They were used to you guys at post World War II. It had been long enough time without the big.
And my
gentle
father-in-law
giants.
thinks I look like Kevin Costner. I know you guys on Facebook know I don't look like Kevin Costner. But my father-in-law seems to think that all white people who are tall, 6 feet tall,
Kevin Costner.
Yeah. So
you look
my
like
wife,
Kevin Costner's Butler Lurch. Maybe I'm mixing my shows up. I
So
don't know.
my wife, basically, she's Christy Yamaguchi, and I'm Kevin Costner.
You're a lucky
there it
life
is.
you lived.
Yeah, it's great. We're
Nice.
beautiful
Oh,
people.
man.
So I have one more little thing. If you, we're at an hour here, and I know we've got stuff to do here, but I'm sorry I picked a topic that maybe was unfair today because it's hard to.
No, I don't know. I mean, it's challenging. That's good.
Yeah.
I can tell you what kind of eggs I like. That's
What
who
kind of eggs
cares?
do you like?
All of them. Quail.
Really?
No.
It's
God,
like,
no.
it's like, how messed up are you?
I know, right?
I like to eat the eggs of dinosaurs.
I do. I don't care how hard they are. Speaking of culture, what the fuck's up with a 1,000-year-old egg? What are those? What do they eat? Those. I mean, what are those eggs? I guess it's Chinese eats those like old eggs.
Well, I know the Filipinos eat the rotten eggs.
Well, but there's like a
They
Chinese.
call it like paella.
There's
or
a
something
Chinese
like that.
culture. They eat like 1,000 or 100-year-old egg or some crap. They let it just
So messed
ferment or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah.
No, it's a good topic. It's a challenging topic. It makes you think. I mean, we're able to put at least verbalize what I think your topic was revelation. That's the only thing I was able to add for today was a word. Word. Want to put out one word today. But it's we were able to talk about some things that weren't necessarily. Oh my God, how bad is our administration? We avoided that like the plague, which was good.
Yeah, thank you.
Don't get the plague these days because
There's always a way to segue.
Skimming,
Yeah.
touch and go. What's your other one?
So everybody knows I'm a man of faith, or try to be, and that's the point. Try to be.
Okay.
So this is not a religious discussion, but this is my own, again, personal revelation. We had at church on Sunday, it was just a discussion about faith, right? It was like most church services are, right?
Sure.
Just having faith, trusting God, etc. And it was an open call to anybody who wanted to chime in an idea or thought. And I had this thought the whole time, and I never had the balls to say it. I just didn't. I didn't want to stand up and go, "This is what I think we all do," because that's not fair. I don't speak for Spike, even if I might, but probably don't.
Okay.
And so I didn't want to say this is what we all do, but this is how I think. I really do think this is true. What I'm about to share.
Okay.
I think very, very, very few people, no matter how ferocious they are in their faith, their religion of choice, whatever they choose to do, I really think most people don't actually believe it. I really believe this. I really mean this. You go to church. Why does everybody go to church? Everybody goes to church for really a couple of reasons, and I'm sure you'll name others. Some people go.
I go for the wine.
Some people.
Fuck, that's
some
good
people
wine.
go out of family respect. Some people go out of guilt.
Okay.
Some people go because they're searching. Some people go because they're on fire for the Lord. Right? Everybody's kind of got a different vibe why they go. Some people are going for healing.
Okay.
Some people are going because they want money and they think somehow praying to God He'll make them rich. I mean, people have a variety of reasons.
Sure.
Okay. What I've found, I go to church for the reminder and the support of people like me who kind of realize we're all in this together.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
I like the social aspect of church for that. Although I'm not really social at church, meaning like if people walk up to me, I'm not standoffish, but I'm not like, hey, I can't wait to hang out with you for the next hour. I just kind of like, hey, how was your week? And then I'm kind of out of there, right?
Right.
But here's the whole thinking, and I'm lumping myself in this. I really don't know. Obviously, I mean, faith is faith. You don't really know, so you have faith. You have hope that what you believe to be true is true. that God created this world, that Jesus died for your sins, all these things. You think these things, you hope these things. To me, I feel like there are very few actual believers.
True believers.
True believers.
Okay.
I think most people want to believe.
Okay.
And so my point with this is, when I was sitting there on Sunday, I was parsing through my mind saying, how much do I believe and how much do I want to believe? Because here's the thing, and this is going to sound religious, but it's not, so please, again, hang on, bear with me. If you believe in God and you believe in, for example, heaven, okay, that there's a place to go after we die. If heaven is this perfect, wonderful, and there's no sin, there's no sadness, there's only joy and pleasure and beauty forever and ever, why are we so worried here? If we've got that promise there, right? If Spike's going to die and go to heaven, what the fuck is wrong with us? And you know what it is? We don't believe. We don't believe that that's real. We don't believe. We hope to believe. We want to believe. Why do we keep going back to church? Because we're waiting for the panacea. We're waiting for somebody to go. We're waiting for but we're never getting it.
Right.
And it was one of those things that made me sad. Here's this guy, Rob Jones, who has faith and loves people, and I want to live for them, and I want to do good for them. And I'm not saying I want to convert them, because that's not how I think. I do want them, I hope, to know what I believe I know, and to share that joy, because to me there's joy in it.
Okay.
Right? I mean, my faith, I will say, is this. My faith is strong, but is it impenetrable? No. And that's what I'm getting at.
Or should it be?
But it scares me. I don't.
Okay.
I want it to be. No, Spike. I want it to be impenetrable. I want to trust in God. I want to believe in my Christian God. I want to believe in Jesus to in a way that it's completely impenetrable. And let's say, just for shits and giggles, that this is the end of the world. And I'm not talking about Trump. I'm talking about just like in the next 20 years, all the biblical things are true, and the Antichrist really comes, right? And he's going to cut your head off if you choose Jesus. You know how many people aren't going to choose Jesus? So many people are going to go like, well, I don't know, I'm pretty scared. I kind of don't want to die.
Well, you're defining faith.
Yeah.
You're not defining belief. Those were very different things that are often
That's fair.
Convoluted.
But it makes me sad that I don't have the guts
belief?
that I question myself all the time, even though I propose I am an intensely
religious person and faithful. Okay,
faithful.
Isn't it a journey? Isn't it a non-ending quest for affirmation?
Well, sure.
Okay, of faith. Okay, I mean, the word faith is self-defining. I mean, you got faith. Yeah. There's always going to be a doubt. It's because you're not perfect. You're flawed. I mean, I believe in a higher power. I believe in God. I believe in heaven. I don't live my life by those guidelines, which is a shame, because it would be a better world if I did. It would be better if we all did. But, the Lord, and I believe, didn't make us perfect. He made us flawed so that we would continue to pursue faith and pursue affirmation and reaffirmation, so that when we were rewarded with trials and stumbles and then reaffirmation and re-engagement with our faith, that is the proof and the reward that we seek. And we are flawed so that we keep coming back to the need of reaffirmation and the need of faith. I think God put us here to enjoy our faults, to enjoy, the forbidden fruit, not just the journey, but the forbidden fruit. And so that we could see, okay, look, that's good, but there's something better, to have something to compare faith to and belief to. I mean, you can take the sins of the flesh and the sins of whatever, and they're all great, but there's a greater.
Sure.
And you won't know what the greater, I mean, you don't know how high until you go low. You won't know the good till you've been through the bad.
Right.
So when you feel these moments of short-term pleasure, of short-term, accomplishment or whatever, joy, to show us that there's a bigger picture, maybe that's why we're all faithful and not true believers. That's why there's a journey. That's why there's a quest. That's why there's a place to go to be like people like yourself.
Right.
That can give you, oh yeah, you're on the right track. We're all in this together, and they all come for different reasons. But I mean, to say that no one truly believes, I don't think they want us to. I don't think God wants us to truly believe. I think God wants us to question and falter and go out and test the water and come back.
You don't think that God, at least the Christian God, doesn't want you to pick him?
Oh no, I think he totally wants you to pick him. But you don't have to.
But he wants you to test drive everything else?
Sure, because that way you'll know his is best. This is the best way. I mean, and it's just
interesting way to put it.
It's just my perspective.
That's interesting.
That's how I justify sin.
Hey, I know God wants me to test drive that girl over there.
Sure, man. But you know what? God will tell me because I mean, you've lived your life and I've lived my life, and I have found, and I'm sure you have too. I'm sure anybody listening has found that they've tried other ways and it's blown up in your face.
Yeah.
And you've come to realize that when you do what you're supposed to do the right thing, it turns out to be better. I've been married for 26 years going on, and I had a bunch of experiences before my wife and experiences after my wife, and none of them measured up. And I don't mean that in the literal.
No,
I haven't been perfect in any way, shape, or form of my life, but when I do try to be my best, that is when it's the best for me. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah. I mean, because if you beat yourself up because you've fallen, you've stumbled.
Yeah,
I'm not saying you're beating yourself up, but you said when you were going to stand up in a church full of your friends and your community and say nobody here truly believes.
Well, I wanted to challenge everybody because
I get that, and I was going to say it won't be accepted for what you intended it to be.
Well, and that's why I didn't say anything,
because people who will prove you right will fight you the hardest.
Right.
And people say, I believe. You have no idea. You have no point. You have no right, no point. You don't understand my faith.
Right.
I believe and you don't believe, and that's your problem, not mine. You know what? Those who preach the loudest about their beliefs often are the ones who are less secure in their beliefs.
Yeah.
Right? Look at our president. Yeah. But talk about a guy who constantly needs reaffirmation.
Which God are you talking about?
Yeah, mine. My God fits. It's like a cologne. He smells different than every guy who wears them. The Lord,
the Lord
smells different on every guy who wears them.
Oh, the Lord.
Oh, the Lord. That's great. Actually, that's a funny bit. That's a good bit.
Lord de Toilette.
Oh, Lord de Toilette. The Lord of Toilets.
That's cool.
I apologize.
So
okay. Well, good for you for even wondering. Is your faith? You're not wondering if your faith is strong enough, right? Are you doubting yourself because you have doubt?
I'm not. Here's the thing. I'm not really doubting. I'm not doubting. I actually believe that all the things I've shared.
Okay.
I believe that. But I just talk about the human coming from the human experience. The guy who's still here. The guy who's still flesh and bone. The guy who's still curious about all those things that I haven't experienced, and concerned that, gosh, I hope I'm doing this right. Right?
Well, yeah.
Is the guy that goes, how much do we really believe, and how much of this is just hope? Because it seems like it's an awful lot of, boy, I hope this works out for me. I hope this is the right choice.
Why does it need to be more than that?
I just want to. It's not about wanting to know because there is no way to know. That's just how it works.
Right.
That's how it works.
That's the price we pay.
It's. I really am. It'd be exaggerating for me to say desperate, but I'm really, really highly desirous of wanting to do the right thing.
Okay.
And
is it because you see the world around you that it needs the right thing to be done?
Yeah, I mean,
I'll give you that.
All day,
Yeah.
every freaking day.
Every day, all day.
Everything I see on TV, everything I read on the web, everything
It's always been that. It's always been that way.
And it'll always be that way. And I can't fix it. I get it.
Right.
I can't fix it. I'm one guy.
You can fix.
I can impact.
You can
little
have a hand
things.
in it.
Yeah. You can impact little things.
Well,
People who listen to this can hopefully be impacted by what we're
How
talking
about this?
about.
You can't fix it, but we can't fix it without you.
Yes. I just, man, I want to count, dude. I want to count.
Good.
You know,
Good.
I want to.
I feel for people who don't have that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason I wake up every day. It's not about getting up at 6 and doing yoga. It's getting up every day and going, yep, cool. What's going to happen today?
Right.
And how am I going to?
What do you got, guy?
How am I going to adapt to it? What do you got for me?
What do you got today?
You know, and
That's awesome.
I like that. One of the things I want to encourage myself and other people is don't forget. Everybody always says, like, please God help me when shit's hit the fan, right? When life's really hard. I went through that for a number of years where things just got chaotic in my life. And I was like, oh my God, how am I going to survive this? And somehow we made it through, right? And by the grace of God, right?
Well, yeah. It's not just a clever saying.
No. I know. But I have found lately that as things are going pretty damn well, right? Economically for us, things like this podcast, my Rockstar Superhero stuff, my institute, the business dealings I'm doing on the side, things are going pretty good. And I'd find myself standing in my shower at night, just taking a shower. And I know that sounds weird to you guys, but 3 years ago, I prayed the whole time I was in the shower.
That's
That's my prayer stuff.
Must have worked.
Prayer location, my prayer closet.
Okay,
right?
your aqua shower.
Yeah,
your aqua prayer?
yeah. And
cool.
and I found myself going, so like even last night I was like, okay, Lord, don't let me forget you when things are going good, because I don't want to just be your friend when shit's hit the fan.
Sure, that's
Yeah. And so that's where it goes. I guess I want to do the right thing and be the best I can and impact people and be a leader and be a lover and a fighter and all those things.
Okay. Cool. So we did race and religion today. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good, right? For not have nothing.
I'm not going to put that on the deep six, race and religion.
Why not?
Avoid it all.
Would you think so? People would?
I don't know.
I hope not.
Well,
but that's a
Byron
third rail,
gonna,
right?
Byron
third
and Mike
rail.
are going to show up
Sure
every
they
time.
are. God love them. Russian Mike.
Yeah.
I love you, man. Dude, I'm so, me, I'm an optimist. For all my grudge bearing and my judgment and
You're a happy guy.
I am a happy guy because, what's the point of not?
Yeah. There's not.
What the hell?
There is not.
Decide what kind of day you're going to have, and that's the kind of day you're going to have. I'm talking about empowerment. Shit, you decide to have a shitty day, you're going to have a shitty day.
Yep.
Works the same way the other way.
Claim it.
Decide you're going to have a good day, you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't care how much shit the world throws at me today. I got a family who loves me, a family who needs me.
Yeah.
A family who needs me is a blessing. People are like, wow, you people are so needy. Well, what's the opposite look like?
Yeah.
Nobody needs your shit? God.
You've heard that term be, do, have, right?
Mm-mm.
You want to be something, you have to do things so you can have them, right?
Interesting.
And so, because most people come from the opposite perspective. They say, well, I've got to have
a doobie?
this. I've got to have this. In other words, I'm never going to be successful because I've got to have money first.
Okay.
In order for me to have money so I can do the things, then I'll be that guy.
Okay.
And the answer is in your head, you have to become the guy so you'll do the work so you can have
the things. Sure.
It's backwards. Everything in the world that is of success, meaning whether it's economic or spiritual or whatever, you've got to believe in the thing, right? It's like when you met your wife, you saw her and something in you sparked that was more than just how you were maybe attracted to her, but there was a knowing. I knew this person was extraordinary. It was the same when I met my wife. I saw her, and yes, she was really adorable and cute and all those quirks. But the fact is I could literally feel like that electricity that existed it wasn't a repelling. It wasn't like a magnet pushing against itself. It was a magnet pulling together.
Okay.
It was whatever that is, a negative and a positive pulling together and not repelling. So, yeah, there it is. I don't know what the hell I was saying.
It's all good, man.
I totally lost my mind there at the end. You know what I'm thinking of right now? It's the truth. I'm not gonna lie. I'm so hungry because I've been on this stupid diet, and I'm just.
Well, you shit out everything you ate in the last year. Yesterday, of course, you're hungry.
I know.
That's how we started this.
And Dick's is like
No.
4 blocks over there.
No, go for food.
I know, but
Dicks.
I know, but it
Eat a bag of dicks, why don't you?
It sounds so. Have you been doing it on the radio yet?
What? No,
Eat a
not yet.
bag of
No,
dicks?
they won't get. They won't give me any money.
Oh.
My Eat a Bag of Dicks tribute to be the asshole of the day. You know what, Mr. Trump? Why don't you eat a bag of dicks? We'll send them over to you.
I saw that on Facebook though. Somebody, one of my friends on the East Coast. So I don't know if there must be something like a Dick's on the East Coast because they said the same thing. They said, "Oh man, oh no, it was in Spokane. Is there a Dick's in Spokane?"
I don't know.
Okay, because she said, "Yeah, I brought a bag of dicks to somebody, and they were like, this is awesome." And everybody's like, half the people responded with the, and the other half were like, "That's good," So, any final words for our lovely studio audience today?
Thanks for making me think today. Really
Cool.
It's St. Patrick's Day here in our world.
Yeah.
And it may be superficial and corny, but I take great pride in that. I revel
Corny.
in that. Yeah. Sorry.
Corny beef. I can't stand corned beef.
You haven't had it right.
Probably not. It's always overcooked. It's dry, and
You haven't had it right.
Okay, well, I'll let you make it for
There
me
you
one
go.
of these days. So, with that, I guess we'll sign off. And you got a word for the day? I got a word for the day.
I don't know. My word for the day is it's gratitude. The word for the day is phlegm. No, what do you got?
Do the right thing.